Hello and thanks for taking this time to watch this video. I want to talk about deadlift in Jamaica, the struggle for inheritance, property and wealth. I've seen so many situations happening in Jamaica and I'm very worried because deadlift seems to be a crisis happening in Jamaica that many people can't even understand. When you talk about deadlift, people are making the assumption that someone who passed had money or land or even an old car. Yes, people do struggle to understand that in many times, these people just barely made it to the end of their lives. And all of a sudden, everybody wants something from them. The issue with deadlift is that it creates problems. Brothers and sisters and cousins and uncles have bad blood because they believe that they should inherit for whatever reason they did not put down, but they want to inherit. Now, the reality is, when you realize that deadlift becomes a problem is the day of the funeral and sometimes before. Now, let's say for instance, Charlie. Charlie never visited Jamaica for the last 10 years. They didn't call him Papa or Mama. But all of a sudden, him hear that them knocking the bucket. So him fly down or him call and say, is everything all right? And they said, no man, he's passing, he's traveling. So as he's traveling, meaning he's going to another land as they call it in Jamaica. And he's taking his time to die. For example, the father is taking some time to die. Then they say, I'm coming down on the next available flight. So the tech flight like crazy, make connections, sleep overnight if it's necessary. They could be there when the individual is about to pass. But luckily, the Lord was so good that he would have taken the person away, and when they arrive, the person will be gone. No, that is a crisis and crisis. He has never been to Jamaica for the last 10 years. But all of a sudden now, he put on one piece of burden that you'd think that he was right beside the person when he was passing. Because deadlift is a serious thing. It's a conception that you think that someone has something that you have a right to. No, don't get me wrong. People who invest in their parents and continue to take care of their parents, if they are around, of course, taking care of the parents, then the parents should, in their rightful mind, think of maybe leaving what they have for them, if that is the case the parent wants. Remember, it's the parent's choice at that point in time. But nevertheless, that brother or sister or cousin or nephew who has never been around, once they hear that the person is passing, will make their journeys from the end of anywhere they are to Jamaica. Now, deadlift is a serious problem again, because not only it's a problem as it relates to a quarrel, it's a problem as it relates to bad mind and bad thoughts and certain bad things. It can ultimately lead to the crisis of death. Yes, for example, someone passed away and the other person believes that he or she should get what is not theirs. And I say not theirs because a will has been given. But deadlift is a really serious crisis and problems. Parents have been killed because of deadlift. People have died because of deadlift. Brothers have killed brothers, just as in the olden days. Let us get real. If someone worked for the last 30 years and they produce their stuff and they say, all right, you know what? I want to give Mary X because Mary was around, and I want to give John X because John was around, and they write a will. But notwithstanding this will, people think that they should take this thing to court. I have seen where people have left land in Jamaica and the land is about to be sold and someone comes and creates a claim to that land and holds up the process for 3 years because of deadlift. As I said before, deadlift is a serious thing. But why do we have such a movement towards people gravitating towards people's wealth, even though they're deceased? The thing about it is that Jamaicans make many assumptions, or people in general around the world. They make the assumption that the person has no debt to cover when they're passed. 2, they make the assumption that the person must have left a lot of money for them, and they think that there needs to be money given to them or an obligation. And I would say another 4th, they have not accomplished a single thing in their lives, and the only thing they can think about is grabbing what is not theirs to secure their retirement. No, I say no. If you did not work for something, why do you want it? I believe in leaving a legacy, yes, but if I do not have a legacy and I have no money, what can I give? Because if I were to pass, of course, I'm going to pass my stuff to my wife and my children, my daughters, of course. Now, let me say this. One thing about it is we have to ensure that we tell people to write their will or to do a trust. Doing so will ensure that you have things set. The reality is that some people, they come to these funerals crying and wailing and behaving badly. They don't even allow other relatives to mourn the passing of the loved one. They start off by saying, I want to see his will. No, this is a time of mourning. The will is not important at this point in time unless it's there for providing a provision for the burial. So why would you rush? Why would you make other people's lives so unbearable because of the thought that you might inherit something? As I stated before, deadlift has caused many situations. I heard about a case in Jamaica where a woman was gunned down in a church. I'm not going to speculate about the circumstances, notwithstanding there evidence to suggest that it might have been a result of some people thinking about deadlift. The reality is you have to create your own wealth because your wealth is yours when it's created. You have ownership. Just to say that I'm obligated to get money because he was my father, my mom, or some relative, it's not good enough to claim someone's wealth. My issue to you is, and for those who are fighting over deadlift, remember, as you grow older and you move from one stage in your life to the next, you should be preparing a legacy for yourself, a legacy for your children if you choose to leave something for them, because your children are yours. If you decided not to leave anything for your children but to give it to charity, it should be your will and your desire. That's what you thought necessary, because deadlift brings out people who have never done anything to help humanity because they think they can get something to enhance your lives. My brothers and sisters, wherever you are, stop fighting over deadlift, because remember, at the end of the day, you are going to be gone from this world, and of course you have to leave all the wealth that you think you might have. And the bottom line is, if it continues, people will just be fighting over deadlift because it just does not work out. It creates animosity, it creates enemies, and it leads to the development of hateful thoughts, which ultimately can lead to death. So I'm saying to you, stop quarreling over deadlift, stop quarreling over land, stop quarreling over people's money that you did not work hard for. Stop doing these things. You have to grow up and be a man or woman and work for what you want in life. And if someone decides to leave some money with you, you're being blessed. But do not take away someone else's blessing because of your selfishness. Because if I choose to give someone something before I pass, it will be done. You should not fight over it because that was not my intention. The reality is when someone passes, just chill yourself. If the person decided before he passed or she passed to give you something, then appreciate it. But don't try to steal from them because ultimately they're already dead and you're defying their thoughts and their will. So, deadlift, leave it behind because you will definitely get left out.